Warm greetings. Welcome to another session of Friday Waters Thesis Club. Today's Friday Waters Thesis Club is on Upstream Liability is Downstream Opportunity, a case of Anand. Before we get into the session, a brief about Friday Waters. The Friday Waters series is an extension of the flagship program Wednesdays for Water of the WforW Foundation. The idea of Friday Waters is to wet the Fridays with fun-filled and yet fruitful activities for the future generation. Friday Water series has water talkies, book reading club, water arts, thesis club, which is today, and meet a maestro, some of them which take place depending on the availability of the speakers. The focus of the thesis club is on bringing students and scholars who have done or are doing their research on some aspects of the water into the session in order to discuss with them their identified problem, aim, objectives, methodology chosen, the research design, the fieldwork, findings, and the learning, and the way forward they seek out of the research. In the process, we know also about the making of the research and also the contribution it aims to make in science as well as in society. The session is also meant to increase the outreach of the research and the researcher. My name is Mansee Bal Bhargava, and I'm the host from WforW and moderator for today's Thesis Club session. And I'm joined by Professor Sonia Gupta from Woxsen University as discussant for the session. For today's session, we welcome Dr. Deepa MPM, who is working as a national researcher at International Water Management Institute, abbreviated as IWMI, at the Anand office, and is conducting her research on upstream liability, which is downstream opportunity, which she is going to discuss, taking the case of Anand. Welcome, Deepa, and thank you so much for taking out time and agreeing to take this session with us. May I now invite Sonia to introduce the speaker, Deepa, Dr. Deepa, and also the rules of the presentation and how we are going to take the session further. Thank you, Sonia, also for taking out time, and over to you.
Thanks a lot, Mansee, and a very warm welcome from my side to Dr. Deepa MPM. Let me please introduce Deepa and then discuss just the basic rules. And yes, thank you for sharing your presentation in advance, Dr. Deepa. Dr. Deepa is an agricultural economist. She holds a postdoctorate in agricultural economics from George August University, Göttingen, Germany, and a PhD in agricultural economics from the University of Agricultural Sciences, Bangalore. She has worked as a research scientist at the Environmental Management and Policy Research Institute, Bangalore, and postdoctoral associate at IIM, Bangalore. She has contributed to a range of projects related to groundwater management, market value chains, artificial intelligence and machine learning, as well as climate change adaptation. Currently, her research explores how wastewater, often viewed as a management challenge in urban areas, is being repurposed as a valuable resource in downstream rural communities. Additionally, she is involved in projects related to solar irrigation service models that are being piloted in Bihar. With that, it's over to you, Dr. Deepa. You may please start your presentation. You will have about a maximum of 25 minutes for your presentation, after which we will indulge in some interaction, me and Mansee, or if there are some other questions from viewers, then we will take those up. Is that okay,
Sure.
Dr. Deepa?
Yeah, sure.
Great.
So I'll share my screen now.
Yes.
Is it visible?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes. First of all, thank you, Mansee and Sonia, for this introduction and for this opportunity. So good evening, everyone, for taking time to attend this session today. And with the interest of time, I would like to get straight into the presentation. And my presentation, so it explains more about how wastewater is being utilized to generate and support livelihoods in the downstream areas. And I would like to emphasize this point that so I am focusing more on solely on the wastewater, that is municipal wastewater, but not the industrial wastewater. So So before I, like few months ago, before I start exploring the sewage drains, that carries, 90, more than 95% of the Anand city's wastewater all the way to the Gulf of Kambat, I was doubtful about its utilization actually. It's because through my understandings from the reports like which I read from the district government departments, and also my interactions with the locals here, and also like farmers from 7 to 8 villages around Anand, who supply major chunk of vegetables to the Anand's market. So I was in the perception that Anand city and Anand district as a whole has no issues with the water availability. And hence, I was thinking that I'll not be gaining more information on my explorations regarding large scale utilization of the wastewater. But to my surprise, every visit of mine was an eye opener for me. So so this is the point where this wastewater that is generated in Anand, it goes to the Gulf of Khambat through the major drains. And I please take a moment to watch this video. So this, I came across my field visit. This is the same drain which I was tracking actually. This is in the place called, nearby the place called Unheli village, and they are the family of four, and they do this netting to get fish, and they get around 10 to 11 kgs of fish in every netting, and they do this activity thrice a week. In that way, they were mentioning around 15 to 18,000 they earned from fishing in the drain without any financial investment. This is the Uneli village on the stretch where I found these people doing netting. So coming to the components of my presentation, so I'll be explaining first about Anand city's wastewater scenario, and then I'll move forward to forward with wastewater in agriculture, and then I'll explain about how the sewage fed aquaculture is happening. So this is the map of Anand's city, and it is in Gujarat. And Anand city is home to more than like 4.5 lakh population, and it has 1,25,000 households, and 100% of its public water supply is met through the groundwater sources. So it has like for the administrative ageness, the entire Anand city is divided into three areas. One is Karamsad, Anand, and Vidyanagar. So entire Anand city, it has 4 STPs, which can be seen in this map: 6.5 MLD STP, 33 MLD STP, 13.5 MLD STP, and 7 MLD STP. So these are the 4 STPs that are located in Anand. And Vallabh Vidyanagar, so right now the STP is under construction, but till now it had no STP, but they have 12 MLD oxidation pond. So this is the 12 MLD oxidation pond in the Vidyanagar. So all these years, so with the sewage connections, they used to get the sewage water from the Vidyanagar area, and they just let it for the oxidation, and then they are sending it to the major drain. You can see here. So this water is bypassed to the drain soon after the oxidation process. So this table, it gives us the information about the wastewater generation and the treatment scenario in Anand city. As I mentioned, Anand, Vidyanagar, and Karamsad, they are the administrative areas. At present, they are there. And Anand as a whole, it has 53 MLD, existing treatment capacity for the wastewater. And Vidyanagar, though it has 100% sewage connected households, so since there is only the oxidation pond, I'm considering it as there are no STPs. And Karamsad, it has 7 MLD STP as an existing capacity. So in total, 60 MLD, existing capacity is there in Anand city. And coming to the operating capacity, so in Anand area, so among this, from this 53 MLD existing capacity, the operating capacity is about 31 MLD. And in Karamsad, it is 5 MLD is the operating capacity, and overall it is 36 MLD is the operating capacity of the Anand city. So I could come to the figures on unaccounted and untreated wastewater through unconnected sewage lines in the city as a whole, that I came through interactions with the municipality officials. And I could calculate that 51.4 MLD is the untreated and unaccounted wastewater that has been generated on daily basis in Anand. And the totaling to that, so 87.4 MLD is the total wastewater generated in Anand city on daily basis. So if we calculate it for an year without considering the seasonal factors or something like that, so it comes to around 31,901 MLD per annum. So looking at the figures like 36 MLD, the operating capacity, and the unaccounted and untreated water as 51.4 MLD. So it gives us this figure that 41% of dilution is happening to the untreated wastewater with the completely treated wastewater in the Anand city. So there are two major sewage drains that run from exist in Anand city, and they run from Anand to all the way to the Gulf of Khambat, as I explained earlier. And this is one of the sewage drains, and this is known as Bakrol Petla drain. And it gets treated water from these two STPs nearby, and also untreated wastewater from the unconnected areas in the surrounding area. And this is the other sewage drain that is called as Anand Mogri drain. So this gets wastewater, treated water from this 13.5 MLD STP located in this point, and also the untreated wastewater from the different parts of the city. So I have explored the previous drain to 22 kilometers, and this Anand Mogri drain completely to the Gulf of Khambat. So this is about 46 kilometer. This drain is about, and in that course, I came across all these villages. There are 18 villages that were near to this drain. And in this process, I could categorize farmers um, as like into three groups based on their willingness to use the wastewater or the drain water, we can say. So the first category is not the farmers who are not willing to use water from the sewage drain. And the second category, and I found these farmers in this stretch from Mogri to Santokpur. And the second group of farmers who are willing to use but constrained by the distance and cost. So I found them from Bochasan to Khanapura is this is the stretch in which I found. And also initially I have taken this exploration study in the other drain for 22 kilometers, and I found majority of farmers in this category were there also. And coming to a third category, farmers who are using water from the sewage drain, and they are called as the, like, we can say them as downstream farmers. And I found them from the stretch from Sejpur to Jahangirpuram. So I'll explain about the first category of farmers. So they are the upstream farmers. Okay. So till 17 kilometers from the Anand city outskirts, I found these kind of farmers who are having minimum of one bore well on their farm, and there was no issue with the quality and quantity of water that they were getting to irrigate their agricultural fields. So and they were naturally not interested to use the drain water. And the second thing is that so they knew that the water in the drain is coming from Anand, and it's a municipal wastewater. And they were also in this perception that it contains chemicals which might harm our soil and crops. So, and the third thing is that you can see in the images how dark, dense the water looks in the stretch. And since I was present there, I can say that there was a bad odor. So that was another concern why farmers were not interested to use this water. Coming to the other stretch, other group of farmers. So they were willing to use this water, but they were constrained by the cost and the distance. So these are the farmers, they were in the midway between the acceptance and non-acceptance of this, the system, because they were not completely convinced about the quality of water. And on top of that, they had their own bore wells. Okay. And there were also another category of farmers who had no bore wells, but they were not keen to use the water from the drain, not because of the quality thing, it's because of the distance and the cost. Because if they're located a kilometer away from the drain, so if they're getting water from the neighboring farmers, the groundwater, at the rupees of 60 to 70 per hour. So why would they want to invest on the pump setup and also discharge pipes? And the other major constraint that they were telling was the recurring cost, the fuel cost. So in order to run up diesel pump for an hour, they have to get 1.25 liters of the diesel, and it costs around 112 rupees per hour. So which is a costly affair for them to invest on this system. So this high recurring cost was making this option less attractive for them. Otherwise, otherwise, like, the economic accessibility I found is a key factor in using wastewater for irrigation, especially when alternative irrigation sources are readily available. So coming to the third group, so these are the downstream farmers who are using wastewater on a large scale. So it's because these farmers, this drain water has helped them to help the extended farming community to to earn economic benefits in the area where groundwater is not a reliable option for them. So and when I followed the drain, I could see that there were no bore wells, in the farms that were adjacent to the drain, and like especially besides this sewage drain. And they, instead of like knowing that, they are well known with the fact that this water is a municipal wastewater from the Anand city, and they also know that there are other laterals that are bringing wastewater from different villages to this major drain. So despite knowing this fact, they consider this as a primary source of irrigation for their agricultural activities. And like later when I looked into the water and the pumped water, you can see in the images it looked transparent, and for me it was odorless over there. And these farmers, they were growing tobacco, rice and bajra, so they grow these according to the seasons in the using this water. And you can see in this village list, so Sagepur, till Sagepur, tobacco, rice tobacco is the cropping, pattern that they follow usually. And moving down, since there are issues of groundwater salinity, and water non-availability of water and all, so they go for bajra followed by bajra cropping system. So and so these are some of the images from my field visit. Like I just wanted to depict how in the downstream area they are getting working hard to get this water from the drain, and how clean the water looks. And in my visit, during my visit in the only two villages, I could find 20 diesel pumps of 3 to 5 HP covering an area of 38 hectares. And moving forward, I had no way to go along the drain, so I went into different villages as shown in the list. And I could get to know that minimum of 40 hectares of area is under wastewater irrigation in these villages. So and I confirmed it with the district irrigation department in Petlar. So where they said that they gave me the information about Bajipur and Ralas villages. You can see in the table that in Bajipur, 45 hectares of land is under wastewater irrigation, and in Ralas, around 80 hectares of land is under wastewater irrigation. So I took this 40 hectares as a minimum area that is under wastewater irrigation as told by the villagers. So it total accounts for about 325 hectares of area which is under wastewater irrigation. So coming to the question that why they're preferring the drain water over the groundwater. So I saw one person, only one person who dug his borewell during December 2024, and this is the borewell that you can see in the background, and he dug it mainly for the purpose of getting electricity connection actually, and he dug it to the depth of 380 feet, and then also when this water spilled over to the nearby area, so then he thought of putting some green leafy vegetable seeds and all, so that that can come for his household consumption. And then gradually he realized that there was development of white plague and the drying of the soil in the area which is irrigated with this water. You can see it in the images. Okay, so then he understood that like going to 380 feet also it's not working for them, and they were telling like they have to go at least to the depth of 500 feet to get the such quality of water that can be used in the irrigation. So, and you can see this image, this is just beside this white casted area. So this area is irrigated from the drain water, and that looked good, and the soil was with a good moisture level. So this is the difference that I could see on the ground. And these farmers, they are not the first generation individuals in the area to use water from this sewage drain. So it is from the ages, it is from their father's period, they have been observing how they are utilizing this water, and how they have this practical hands-on experience of utilizing this water, and what are the pros and cons, when we have to use, how much we have to use and all. So and with that practice and the confidence, they say that this water has improved the soil condition, and like more than before. So our soil is fertile is what they state. And because of the organic matter content in the wastewater, it is keeping soil more moisture, like it retains more moisture in the soil. And they also mentioned that they are realizing higher crop yields as compared to the previous production levels. And not all, but few farmers said that they have reduced fertilizer utilization. And there was so much of barren kind of fallow land that was there because of the unavailability of the water initially. And they found a solution through tapping into the informal groundwater market to get drain water and sell it to the nearby farmers and all. You can see this chamber system. I'll just play a video. So how systematically they have played, I mean, like framed this system. So this is a wall system. So they operate respective walls to give water to respective farmers field. So this is how they gradually have developed their own system to get water. And now, so the single farmer is selling water to 40 hectares of land in the Sagepur village. And still this practice is continuing, and the value of this water remains significant due to its role in making fallow land a productive one. And coming to the yield figures, so I had interactions with the upstream farmers as well as the downstream farmers. So you can see here that the downstream farmers are getting 10 to 30% more yield as compared to the upstream farmers. And similarly, as I have shown in the yield, so I have given the comparative information regarding the the fertilizer applications. So, but like on ground, it is not true that all the farmers or community at the community level, they are going to use the same practice and dosage when it comes to fertilizer applications, because over the period they have realized something, that they want to do it on their own. And hence I could get only few farmers in the downstream area which have cut down on the fertilizer application, the quantity of fertilizer that they are applying. So here you can see in the urea, in case of rice, a few farmers in the downstream, they have reduced from 3 bags to 1 bag. And in case of DAP, they have reduced from 1 bag to 0.5 bag. So this is seen in, with few farmers. And this is so because there is no scientific standard, there are no scientific standards, and also the regulatory body to guide the quality of this water and the nutrient content in the water. And the other thing is, farmers, they don't want to take any risk when it comes to fertilizer application, because already they are given with so much of subsidy. So that is why, like, that uniformity in the application quantity is not seen everywhere. And coming to the other aspect, that is the health. So whenever we talk about the wastewater, the health risks are always talked about. So like my sample or my during my visit, I met those farmers who are the primary consumers of what they are producing, be it rice, wheat, or the leafy vegetables that they grow for themselves. And they mentioned that from these 30-35 years, from the past 30-35 years, everyone eats in their family the same thing that they're growing. So they haven't come across any such health issue that comes from the waterborne things. So this is what I found in the exploration. So realizing the potential and need of this water, a small and large check dams, they are they are built there in two different places to control the flow of water and to get maximum possible water to irrigate the surrounding lands. You can see here. So in the first instance, we feel that it's some canal water, but it's not. It's completely the sewage water. And moving forward, this is the Google picture. You can see here a check dam. So this is the big check dam that is built almost near to the sea. The primary intention of this was to prevent the seawater intrusion and the salinity problems with the fresh water. And the ultimate fresh water that is there is this drain water. And the secondary benefits that they thought were, the one is agriculture, because in the surrounding areas the water is saline, and this can be a better source for irrigating the agriculture fields. And the other thing is, a kilometer behind this check dam, people are doing aquaculture, and that too is authorized from the panchayats. So this is what is happening in this behind this check dam. And this is the real image from my visit. So it looks dry because I went in the time where there was a bridge construction going on. So because of which they had to control the water flow, and it was looking a little dry. And this is these two pictures I have taken from the Google. So in the during the normal days, so this is how the water flow looks at the check dam. So I have tried to represent in the pictorial form that what I have seen from this check dam. So you can see there, they have made, so there is a village called Bajipur at this end, and there is a village called Ralas at this end. Either side of the village, either side of these drains, there are villages. And there are chambers, two chambers that have built on the either side. And these chambers, they have this pipeline that is connected to this major tank. And these tanks, they have two submersible pumps. They pump water from this chamber, and from there they pump water to the community water body. And from there they have made these laterals to supply water to the needy farmers, or the farmers who don't have bore well. And this system is operated by the panchayats of the village, and they charge about rupees 60 per hour for irrigating the farmer's field, and the interval varies from 7 to 10 days. And like farmers are happy with the system, so till now they haven't found any conflicts in getting water and conflicts with respect to price, all those things. And these are the real images of the chamber. This is the first image is of the chamber. So it was dry when I went, but usually in the normal days they were telling that 3 to 4 feet of water will be there, so that the chamber will not be visible usually. So from there, this is the big tank. You can see that there are two pipes to pump out the water to the common water pool, and these are the laterals, so that supply the structures were like made to supply water to the respective farmer field. So this is how the system is operating there now. And panchayats also operate the auctioning process of this drain, some portion of this drain, so that people can take it on lease and do their aquacultural activity for a commercial scale. So this is also is happening there. So other, apart from agriculture, there is other livelihood activity that is going on. There is, pumps are available for rent. There are few people who are with the 3 to 4 pumps, be it diesel or the other one that is shown, that LPG one. So they have these, and there are farmers who don't have access to pump and who don't have pump, so they would want to rent it from these people who have this pumps system. And while renting, they also give this discharge pipes, so that the entire system will be rented to the farmer. And if we talk about the diesel pump, the pump owner will take around 70 rupees per hour for the system that he's providing. And it is on part of the rentee, the person who is taking it on rent, to put the diesel and take the diesel cost. So it will come to around 182.5 rupees per hour for this person. And I found a different system, a new system over there, that they have connected this pump to LPG gas. And the cost per hour, the rent per hour was like 120 rupees. And when I had interaction, so I came to know that one cylinder over there cost about 900 rupees. And they said that it runs for about 18 hours. And in that way, per hour, the cost is about 50 rupees. And the person who is renting, he's also making, greater, he's having a greater margin, profit margin. And for the person who is taking it on rent is also, benefited, because it is comparatively cheaper as compared to the diesel. Okay, so if we compare the LPG system to the diesel system, if we have to run the diesel pump for 18 hours, we have to incur the cost of 2025 rupees, whereas in case of LPG it is only 900 rupees, so which looks economical, and I found it innovative.
Dr. Deepa,
So
I'm so sorry I'm having to intervene, but
yeah,
uh, there is a time limit. So I think you have reached just above halfway, but your time is almost up. So can I
so
request you to please, yes, a little
yeah,
bit.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
sure.
Thank you. So I just observed. I have two videos. I don't think so I'll be able to play them. But so this struck me that what probably is happening in the sewage drain, so that the downstream farmers are using it so happily, and but not the upstream farmers. So, but again, in I try to connect the natural thing that is happening in the drain with the what is technically happening in the sewage treatment units. So usually in the sewage treatment units on a large scale in India, the sequential batch reactor is what is the technique that has been followed. It has four steps, that is filling, filtration, aeration, settlement or the reaction, and the chlorination. So and if you see here, I'll not be able to play it, but I'll just show the visuals. So this is the the natural sewage drain, and this is the outlet from the STP, where it gives this treated water, discharge this treated water to the drain. And coming on here, so there is so much of water hyacinth in the vegetative growth, so that it acts as a natural barrier to prevent movement of the plastics and all. And the photosynthesis activity that is happening from this vegetative growth is helping for the aeration, and the sun exposure is helping for the oxidation, and also the slow movement of the water in some areas is helping for the sedimentation. So these are all the processes that are happening in the single drain. And in the SBR treatment also, that can be done in the single chamber. So it is like, I felt it is very relative. And you can see at the end the kind of water that they're getting, it's very transparent. And so, and studies have also shown that the sun exposure can effectively reduce E. coli levels in wastewater through a process known as solar water disinfection. I strongly believe that it is happening on the drain. So I'll just skip the aquaculture part right now, because I'll just briefly explain it. So these are the aquaculture ponds from the villages which are connected to the local sewage system, and these two are the ponds, aquaculture ponds in the villages which are not connected to the local sewage system. So especially these two are in the same village, with a distance of about 500 to 600 meters, but you can see the difference. Okay, so it is difficult to retain fresh water in the ponds when there is no mode to hold this water. But in case of the sewage connected ponds, they were mentioning that so it forms a impermeable layer, so that water movement will not be that drastic. So the water it retains, and on daily basis the sewage moves into these ponds. So, and it helps for the plankton's growth, and which acts as a fish feed, and because of which they are also cutting their cost completely on the fish feed. They are not going for the commercial fish feed. So they're just using the sewage water, and they're managing the sewage water through the application of lime to correct the pH levels, and to help the potash to absorb. And they're also earning well with the production of 1200 to 1400 kg fish per hectare through 5 to 6 nettings in a year. And apart from this, they're also providing it is also providing employment to the migrants from Bihar, so who are well versed in swimming, and they are leveraging the swimming skills for netting activities. So, and they have captured almost all the inland fisheries market for netting in the Gujarat area. And coming to the conclusion, numerous studies, they have documented the use of wastewater across various regions of the country. But our exploration has given me this understanding that regardless of the regulations and the acknowledgement, the demand determines and it drives the use of wastewater. So wastewater, usually, which is looked as a liability and also a significant managerial challenge in the upstream or the urban setup, is perceived as an opportunity in the downstream. So treating wastewater to a potable level is fine. It's a good thing, but we should also look into the fact that what economic value it is adding to the society. So also, tertiary level of treatment will not capture the nutrient values of the wastewater. So nutrient recovery concept will completely vanished in that. And with only 41% of dilution happening in the Anand city, the wastewater is able to generate economic benefits among farming community in the downstream. So I feel that can cities take this as an opportunity to treat municipal wastewater targeting the end use? So they have to treat it accordingly, not to the tertiary flat treatment process that they have to follow. So this way they will be able to cut down on their operation and maintenance cost, and they'll be able to save on energy and smoothen their business of treating wastewater. So this will not only help the municipalities but also help the needy people who actually wants to get this water for irrigation purpose. So I feel that this is the win-win situation for both of them if they go through this. So this is all about my presentation. So I'll keep this session open for the discussion. So if there are any questions, then I'll be happy to answer. I
Thank
hope.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Deepa.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm sorry I had to hurry you up, but we do have a constraint of time.
Yeah.
So let me understand first. I could see that you're involved in many types of related research with your main subject. But the purpose of this research was it to exemplify, show, demonstrate how a waste can be a resource, and was that the purpose, and how it can be done? Was that the purpose?
So partially it is true, but the main purpose was to, to address this flat or the standard treatment procedures. So the wastewater, we don't have. First of all, we don't have this bifurcation or segregation of the industrial and the municipal wastewater. But in most of the cities which don't have industrial areas, the municipal wastewater that is being generated on daily basis, so that can be put to a better end use if they treat it accordingly. If they treat it to the tertiary level and discharge it into the rivers, like it's ecologically it is helping, but economically it has a potential to uh, add into the more value of a production
Right.
system maybe. Yeah.
Right. So that brings me, because you are now doing research uh, for quite a number of years, having also done your postdoc. I'm wondering, you must have taken lessons from other such cases where such technology, if I can put it that way,
Mhm.
of using wastewater for aquaculture, for fish aquaculture, is already happening. Did you take any lessons from there?
Yes, I have come across few studies, especially in Haryana. So where it is run by the municipality only. So the 8 MLD STP in Karnal is doing completely full-fledged aquaculture activities on a commercial scale in the STP. So it is just that a stabilization pond is there and the maturation ponds are there, and which they leave these fingerlings and let them mature and harvest and sell. So this is what is happening, and it is happening from years. So no such cases of sudden epidemic or something related to health are observed. And also like my visits to these villages, the village ponds, I could see that direct sewage from the local village, it is directly coming into the ponds. It's not like there is some filtration that is going on. With everything it is coming, but they're able to manage and generate some income out of it. And yeah, and it has been sold in the live fish market in Surat. So and the other thing is that most of the times we don't know from where our produce is coming from. So
True.
yeah.
So just a reference, because both Mansi and I are from Kolkata,
Mhm.
and I don't know if you're aware that Kolkata has been indulging in this fish aquaculture. It it does not yet have any STP which is close enough, even a tenth of the total MLD that is being produced as wastewater. And all this while it is happening in what we know as the East Kolkata wetlands,
Mm-hmm.
and that is naturally happening.
Yeah.
And by taking this model, there is a cooperative fisheries, fishermen really, who
Mhm.
have actually done this on
Okay.
a absolutely business model. I don't know if you're aware of this. If you are not, I would definitely, because you're in that space, to please investigate on these models also.
Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
Sonia. Thank you so much for this information. But I'd like to inform you that I'm involved in. Like we have a project on East Kolkata wetland, the sewage-fed aquaculture right now going on. Directly, I'm not involved in, but I know what is going in there. But
Right.
definitely, I look into this aspect of cooperative fish farming.
Yes.
Yeah,
Which is
I'll
like
look
a
into.
business model. Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. So
yeah,
please have a look at that as well.
yeah.
So I was just wondering that because you have categorized the three types of farmers, one who don't want to, or one who is they are doing it, or the ones who want to but restricted by cost. So have any has any resistance been observed in consuming crops or the fish um, that is grown with wastewater? Any resistance from the consumer market?
Uh,
Sorry to
uh,
interrupt. Sorry to interrupt. Before you go further, may I request Deepa to please close the PowerPoint? Yeah, so that
yeah,
we
yeah.
can.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure,
thank you. Because
sure.
screen.
Yeah.
Thanks. Please
Yeah,
continue.
yeah.
Yes.
To be specific, I have not, explored the larger consumer market, but those fishermen who were, netting and from the pond fisheries or village ponds also, and from the farmers who are growing with the wastewater. So they are the primary consumers. From there, I haven't seen any kind of, resistance. In fact, the when I was there, the while netting was happening, so I have many videos actually. So there were people who were, coming directly into the drain, and they were buying it. And to the village ponds, when the harvesting was happening, the people were coming directly and they were buying it. So I don't think so that there is so much of, resistance that is there. Um, I don't-
So as a process, it can be
huh,
employed. I mean, there is no other issue with this,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Just a question about the process also. Like
Mhm.
you showed the water hyacinth,
Mm,
and of course, we understand that there has to be some sedimentation when the sewage water is coming into a pond or a tank or even to the river.
mm,
Uh, I mean, somehow in people's minds, what if they see water hyacinth in a pond, they say, like, "Oh my God, that this pond is gone."
mhm.
The idea is very contrary. So, as far as I know, I would like your being an
Mhm.
agricultural economist.
Mm.
Is it detrimental at all, or is it beneficial for the process of fish aquaculture?
Yeah, actually, when if we want to do on a commercial scale to, in a pond aquaculture, obviously it is determinantal. So it's because once it invades, it's very difficult to take it out. So, but whatever I have shown, they were in the government, lands where the water is stagnating in the drain, and that's happening. I mean, like the process is happening, but nowhere in the cultured ponds I have seen the this weed, water hyacinth. So it is actually a determinantal factor if it is there in the pond where the fishing activity is going on. But when I thought like of observing what help it is doing to the drain, so since it was in the sewage drain, so no one would worry to worry about its taking out of it and removing. So I came to know from the literature that the process, the photosynthesis process of this water hyacinth, it actually helps in the aeration, and it helps to manage the BOD and COD level in the drain, and dissolved oxygen it improves. This is what is I have seen from the literature. So it is very
Right,
contextual. So if I look into the
right.
drain, yeah, some part of it is required, but not in the commercial scale aquaculture ponds.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mansi. Are we doing on time? Would you like to jump in and ask a few
Yes.
questions?
Thank you. Yes, very much having the itching desire to jump into the discussion, also jumping into those ponds where I have actually, I grew up in my childhood in those village ponds. So it gives me nightmares when I have to think about those ponds being uh, repurposed with wastewater. So that's my first observation and reaction, because both my grandmothers were farmers and both had their own fishing pond inside their own premise, which we call as pukur. It was the same pond to bathe as well as to fish and to do all kinds of aquaculture, all aquatic life for that matter, which was for domestic use. So I mean, first of all, thank you, Deepa, for this presentation and giving an insight. It also offers us an opportunity to peep into what the kind of research IMI is doing, because it's one of the most, I will say, research intense organization in the world to work on water systems. And now, when you discussed about the situation in Anand, where I kind of sense as a researcher, you must have gone through some cost benefit analysis or strategic environmental analysis to come up with a position where you are talking about how wastewater discharge into the water systems can be looked through a different lens from of course the economic valuation of it. At the same time, I am also, as I said, it gives me a nightmare thinking about my own childhood from there and now. I just want to understand from you, because when cities were growing, the entire focus was on water system. There was not much focus on the drainage system, and the lakes, ponds, and rivers became a de facto drainage discharge for wastewater. With the years of scholarship at IMI, I'm just trying to understand, will this kind of study where the wastewater, of course, treated wastewater for farming is kind of looked at as a positive economic approach, do you think it will actually be a boon for producing more wastewater, or it will really uh, come with some red flags on what kind of wastewater or not enough wastewater? Ahmedabad also harvests a lot of wastewater, by the way, for its farming. So it's like people working on waste, best out of waste. I'm always questioning this ethical part in it. If I am producing best out of waste, indirectly, am I also talking about producing more waste? Am I encouraging production of more waste? So I'm always worried about the economic side of it, but I can understand probably your reference point is from where waste is already discharged. But do you have any suggestion where how can we reduce wastewater discharge first into the pond? Now it has come, of course, then we have to repurpose and reuse. Are there any studies which is like a prologue to the kind of study which you have presented? Because that gives a very good idea on we are also trying to reduce the wastewater production, which I don't see any sign by any local authority that they are talking about reduction of wastewater. Anything around Anand? Because Ahmedabad is not working on it at all. And we are like, big brother and younger sister like a situation.
So, Mansee, first of all, when we talk about reducing production of wastewater, my question is it possible? The can we can look into the growing population, which is growing exponentially, and and also the standard of living of the people, they're improving. They don't get adjusted with the water that they're having. As our standard of living is improving, the quantity of water that we are consuming in different, like initially we had no car, we have car now, we have to wash it a week. In a week we have to wash it, we need water. So how our lifestyles are improving, we are trying, like unintentionally we are trying, we are improving the water utilization. Ultimately wastewater is generated. So our focus is not to promote use of wastewater. Our sole purpose is to give an insight about how better we can manage wastewater at the upstream level, at the city level, so that farmers can collaterally be helped. So it's not like that we are not keeping farmers in the first focus to give them wastewater anyway they are using. No. So, and coming to the system that you are talking, whether it can like farmers will take the system or not. Yes, absolutely. Like farmers are practicing it. Not only from my study, I have gone through many studies from many parts of the country, and even in like different countries, they are using it without any treatment. So And coming to the economic evaluation, yeah, we are having this discussion of energy and water, the correlations, and how the better management of one can, help the other, reduction of cost on other and savings and all. So we are in that discussion, and hopefully we will come up with some project on that. So this is the thing, like we cannot command on reducing wastewater generation, but we can find ways to manage it in a better way so that it can come again to the cycle, and you know that's what.
Yeah, well put, because the wastewater generation is not in the hands of farmers.
Yeah.
And that is also about the delineation of the research, because the wastewater generation is more on the urban side. What really keeps bothering me is that we take fresh water from the rural area and give back the wastewater to the rural area. That's kind of becoming a closing the loop approach, which is very environmentally injustice, unethical. But one thing which was quite intriguing for me from your presentation, when you mentioned that villagers are actually preferring wastewater over groundwater. And probably there are ample amount of studies on this, because why they prefer ground wastewater over groundwater. One reason is energy, probably. It requires less energy to draw wastewater than the kind of nutrients wastewater brings as compared to groundwater, and so on and so forth. But in your case studies, where you have taken samples and interacted with farmers, what were the key reasons, other than the two which I just mentioned as a layperson? I'm sure there are more reasons for them to take wastewater. And one of the reasons which hits me more is that it is coming anyway, so we cannot escape it. So might as well use it. Is it the reason? Because when you showed the two ponds, one dry and one wet, I was like thinking, okay, what's going on here? Over to you.
Yeah, if it's about the fisheries, so since I didn't explain about the fisheries part, so I'll try to explain it now. So Gujarat, from the Gujarat government, this policy has come that they will provide the legal lease agreement to the people who would like to do this aquaculture activity in these ponds. So it is left to the farmer, the fish farmers, to bid for the particular pond or not. Surprisingly, so the bids are this sewage connection is one of the factors, that that prioritizes bidding activities. It's because the reliability of the water, continuously it is
It's a
coming.
continuum,
And
yes.
I don't say that the whatever the water that you saw in the pond is of the wastewater. It's not like that. It's they also pump groundwater to the pond and dilute it, and also they are also on ground. They are taking care of it. They put this lime to reduce the improve the pH level so that the phosphorus absorption is more and the mortality of the fish can be reduced. They're doing it four times a year. So whenever they feel that the thick sewage water is coming, they immediately they are going to do this operation. This is what they're actually practicing in the pond system. The other thing, when it comes to agriculture, so I don't think so. Pumping wastewater is a less costly thing. So it is like it involves more energy, and it is a costly proposition for them as well. Then also they're preferring it because over the years they have seen that there is improvement in the yield. This is what they were mentioning, and they also said that their soil has become soft, and if you want to grow
Okay.
anything, it will grow. Is what they were it's what their opinion is.
Interesting, because I mean, we just recently had a couple of weeks ago a session on toxicology. So toxicity of water and its impact on farming and food that we consume, and how it impacts the health. So that the whole value chain of wastewater and also pesticides was part of the discussion. So I'm just wondering if farmers have focus on yield, which is quite understandable, but there is also something about the quality of the yield, because you may be aware that in the recent time, many of our farm products have been internationally discouraged or completely rejected.
Hmm.
because of the quality. And anyway, in India, we should be embarrassed. And I'm on a public platform, I'm saying this, that the best quality food goes abroad and the worst quality stays back for our own citizen. I think this is the rare country in the world that does it. I mean, and our farmers taking into account the toxicity of the food, of the produce they are making, because yield is also, of course, indirectly related to economy, but it is also related to ecology as well as health of the people. Are these discussions even happening in the farming community?
Yeah. So since they are not observing any, on ground effect on the yield and all,
Hmm.
so they're not worried about the quality. So it is like the upstream people who are creating this pollution, they have to worry about it. The
Hmm.
cities. That's why we are telling that retain the nutrients, so recover the nutrients, and supply this water. There is
Hmm.
no, problem in that. And when it comes to national and the international standards, now like, though if we are using the good quality of irrigation water that we say, but then also they're getting rejected.
Hmm.
So we need to, come to a common ground and work on the possibilities, like how
Hmm.
this can be improved.
Hmm.
So but
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yes.
but I don't think so that like the quality is being, keenly observed.
Hmm.
I
So
don't
I
know.
think it's the quantity of the yield, because once it goes to the
Yeah,
market and then it goes off.
yeah.
Because I have met many farmers in Madhya Pradesh and also in Bengal, where I see that farmers grow their food separately than growing food for market.
Oh,
I see
okay.
Darshan has your hand raised. Maybe we can invite Darshan to pose his question, and also Deepa, you can take both the questions. I mean, it was not a question from my side, anyways. So over to you, Darshan. Hmm. You have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, this is happening outside in Ahmedabad for a very long time. There
Yes.
is a thing called sewage farm. Sewage
Mm.
farm.
Hmm.
Earlier when we were a child, we thought it was a sewage farm, something to do with sewage, S-U-E-Z. But it's a sewage farm where these wastewater is used for agriculture. Okay.
Hmm.
And the local lot of Gujarati newspapers had always, like, from time to time they would have newspaper news saying that we are eating this, that see what you're eating and all that would all come. But researchers are saying that, properly treated wastewater should be one of the yeah, it should be one of the go-to areas
Hmm.
like looking at the water shortage everywhere. And these experiments are even the west, these experiments are being looked into. In fact, one of our group members in the water group, Alka, is also doing this. Alka is
Alka was
also,
here actually. She left. she,
oh, okay. She's doing wastewater only. She's doing absolutely, and she's like kind of, she's very much excited about wastewater, that wastewater is the solution. That's what they're saying. But in Ahmedabad, there's also a problem that they mix domestic wastewater with the industrial waste, and everything goes in the same canal. That is very, very dangerous because it is completely acidic. Okay, they have to separate. So I think what I'm trying to say is that maybe can wastewater be really exploited as a major source of water, looking at the shortage right now with proper checks and balances, maybe with proper treatment, tertiary treatment or secondary treatment. So okay, can it not be the thing, and is it not the solution? Like Surat Municipal Corporation is selling wastewater to industries. Okay, they're selling wastewater, treated wastewaters to industries, to textile industries, for their water requirement. So industries are not, like, against that. The industries are told not to you know release their effluents, but I mean that obviously remains, uh, I mean, the question of investigation. But yeah, so I wonder that, the experts like you, don't you think this should be one of the main go-to areas? That's what is, I'm just asking as a layman.
Thank you so much, sir, for attending and for this question. So, yeah, first of all, as you mentioned, there is no proper segregation policy that is there for industrial and the municipal wastewater. So certainly, if there is mixing of the industrial wastewater, like we would also, think about doing a tertiary treatment. But if it's only from the managerial point of view that I was talking, it's because if you see the number of STPs that are existing, a number of STPs that are operating, there is a huge difference. It is there because there is a huge operation and maintenance cost and energy cost that they have to pay for treating water to the tertiary level. There are membrane techniques and all. There are high level techniques that are there. So in order to account for that, there is a huge investment on day-to-day basis. It is required, because of which most of them are not operating from the reports that I could see. So to come to a middle level, to a common ground, like they can also treat, but to retain these nutrients and also cut down their cost and energy, so that it will not harm the people. And also, if there is mix of industrial wastewater, like I also think this the scope for tertiary treatment should be there, because it's ultimately going to affect the soil and crops. So
Basically, it should come from as a policy level. We can't.
yeah,
These are
yeah,
all small efforts. But
yeah.
it should be, maybe can it be looked at as a policy level?
Okay,
That's what the larger question should be. That's what I believe.
okay, sir.
Indeed. Thank you, Darshan. And
Okay.
Deepa, just to understand and then close the session, because we are talking about upstream, downstream, and just linking it with what Darshan was talking about. Where does this pollutant pay principle will now stand in this position? If we say that the downstream people will benefit from the pollution made by the upstream, which was the whole discussion you presented today, polluter pays principle is kind of a policy in place in the country. Are we in a way talking about let's keep polluting, because the downstream here is an upstream to the next downstream, and
Mhm.
as urban areas continue to grow, and urban areas also continue to grow insensitively about their use of production of wastewater and use of water, as you rightly mentioned, that we are doing well, we are growing, and we are developing, and which also means we are producing more wastewater because we are consuming more goods. In that sense, I think it's a completely different discussion which we have to take later, that where do we stand today as urbanized community who want to consume everything from the rural area, but takes no responsibility of reducing not only the consumption but also production of wastewater. So on one hand, urbanites are the consumers of fresh water and producers of wastewater. And somewhere, I love to talk about SDG 11 and 12, to be honest. Just recently gave a talk on it at Ahmedabad School of Public Policy, and I was talking the same thing, that if we keep on talking about the preventive approach, if we don't keep talking about preventive approach, we will continue doing the cure approach what you are talking about. And I can understand as a limitation of research and something that is not in our control as researchers and organizations for that matter, that we cannot stop everyone in urban areas to not produce wastewater. But do you have any idea of other case studies where people have been really talking about the quality of wastewater to be bettered in terms of domestic wastewater and industrial wastewater mixing is definitely a disaster, which we do. But at the same time, the more I talk to municipal officers, they talk about bigger concern with domestic water than with industrial water because of the nature of complexity of the domestic water. And also the more emerging pollutants are seen in domestic wastewater than in the industrial wastewater, because some kind of an understanding of the kind of pollution coming out of industry. But our farmers are really getting this I will say awareness, education about the emerging pollutants. Our urbanites are getting this education about their use of all kinds of nasty liquids which produce lot of, and also of course plastic. Any study that you are aware of from abroad? Because I know only one case study, which is Lake Biwa, which completely worked for decades to not only change the society but also eventually change the health of the lake. But anything in India that we are really looking at this aspect, which because IWMI works at every corner of the country.
So yeah, when we talk about this knowledge or education about the kind of pollution that we are making at the upstream end, and I don't think so that the urbanites even they have this knowledge and the information that the kind of pollution that they're making, and in turn they are the consumers of what they're doing. If like we being the urbanites, we have this knowledge. As you said, the wastewater production would have been reduced by a lot many times. But it is not so. There is no kind of formal education that has been given in this line to any locality person. And when it comes to the wastewater, be it the industrial or the municipal wastewater, or it is very subjective to the city. Since I was speaking about Anand is tier 3 city, where like the industrial areas are located outside and they have their own treatment units, and the water is diverted somewhere else. But whatever that I have followed is completely the household wastewater, and it's not directly been used by the farmers. You can see that upstream farmers, they know like this water is coming from this place and they have chemicals and all, but going down there is some process that is happening which is making this water like making them feel good about this water. Okay. And apart from this, they don't have other source of water to irrigate their farms. Eventually they have to depend on this. If there is provision for other there are alternative sources of water for irrigating their crops and all, they are available, why would they choose this option? But I think, like, given whether there exist alternative solutions or not, I think that certain I mean cities, if we take the population profile and the activities that are going on and all, if we can bifurcate those things and do some primary treatment and to retain the nutrients and provide it to the needy people, then it will serve the purpose for both of them.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I think we'll have to call it off for the day. I think the biggest lesson for me is that we really have to understand as a society, community, that everyone is in the downstream. And everyone is affected. I think that's the biggest takeaway for me. I mean, it's a myth that we are living right now, and I think the urban areas have to be conveyed about this fact that the more we flush, the more we buy, the more we produce wastewater. But then there are solutions to wastewater, which wonderfully presented by you, Dr. Deepa. Thank you so much for your presentation today. And again, Sonia, being one of the pillars of Friday Water Thesis, for engaging in a meaningful discussion. I see quite a few people at YouTube also. So thank you so much, all of you, for attending our sessions and making these conversations meaningful. Next week, we are going on site, physical, and where Wednesdays for Water is actually doing a water walk at Mill River and Puffer's Pond in Amherst in Massachusetts. And I'm going there for attending IASC conference, where as a team or WforW we present a paper on water anxiety, on disaster-led displacement. And then I also host a panel on water conversations, where we have 8 papers presented from people from across Asia as IASC Asia series. Thank you so much. Next online session is straight away at the end of the June, which is on June 27th at 5 p.m. Again, a Friday Waters session with arts. And we go to the Goa Water Stories Part 4. We are running a 6 session Goa Water Stories, and we will be doing the Part 4. It's again at 5 p.m. IST. More information will be available at www.w4w.in. Do stay tuned with our social media accounts and also website for regular updates. We keep doing these water conversations because at W4W, we strongly believe that water conversations are crucial for water conservation. Thanks again for all today's session, and thanks again all of you, and Sonia and Deepa once again. Do take care of yourself, and goodbye. Thank you. Bye-bye.